Good evening, Jai Shri Krishna. Today we'll talk a little bit about the second force. What could be the biggest cause for second force in our life? આપણા જીવનની અંદર સેકન્ડ ફોર્સ એટલે તમગુણ ને આમંત્રિત કરનારું કયું સૌથી મોટું ફેક્ટર છે? What is the most important, most prevalent cause to invite second force, to create second force in our lives?
Reactions or patterns within yourself?
That is there, patterns, reactions, but something which is like a 24-hour machine. It is always inviting second force. Always, each moment, it is inviting second force. Bolo. Gallery. Huh? Vicharo. Desire is right, but I want to pinpoint it a little. Desire is a little general, but very true desire. But नहीं, सत्वगुण तो न होई सके. આપણા જીવનમાં તમગુણ શું કામ આવે છે? એની પાછળનું મોટું કારણ શું છે? તમગુણ એટલે અડચણો, તમગુણ એટલે ઘર્ષણ, તમગુણ એટલે દુઃખ, suffering. What is the main cause which invites that? Each moment of our lives.
Neediness.
Huh?
Ego.
No, he said the right word, desire, but I don't want that word. I want some other word. He said the right word. Desire is absolutely right, but still it doesn't say what has to be said. एक वक्त हमारे माधवपुर थी 20 किलोमीटर दूर एक जगह है, तो ત્યાં एक फ्रेंच लेडी 1980 માં આવેલ, 79 કે 80 માં. તે એના ગુરુ લાઠીની અંદર નાથ સંપ્રદાયના તો હવે ત્યાં હજી છે, આવે છે વર્ષમાં 6 મહિના ત્યાં હોય, 6 મહિના ફ્રાન્સમાં, અને મળવા જેવા વ્યક્તિ છે. તે એક વખત કોઈ બધા મહેમાનો આવેલા રામદુલારે બાપુના, તો એને લઈને હું ગયો. હવે આ બેન હનુમાનજીના ભક્ત, હનુમાનજીની આરતી કરે ને બધું કરે. એટલે આપણે ત્યાં તો રિવાજ એવું કે કોઈ સ્ત્રી હનુમાનજીની ભક્તિ ન કરી શકે. સ્ત્રી હનુમાનજીની ભક્તિ ન કરી શકે. જે મહેમાનો લઈને ગયો તો એમાંથી એક મોટા શાસ્ત્રીજી હતા, સંસ્કૃતના સ્કોલર, અને બહુ પ્રખ્યાત હતા, નામ નહીં લઉં, પણ અમદાવાદમાં મોટું એક શું કહેવાય સંસ્થા એમના નામ એમને ચાલુ કર્યું હતું, બહુ મોટી સંસ્થા સંસ્કૃતની. તો એમની સાથે આર્ગ્યુમેન્ટમાં ઉતરી ગયા કે તમે આનાથી આ થાય નહીં હનુમાનજીને. બિચારા શાસ્ત્રીજી ત્યાં બેઠા હતા, ત્યાં ઉપર હનુમાનજીની છબી હતી, ધડ થઈને માણસ માણસ બિચારો સ્ત્રી પુરુષમાં અટવાઈ જાય. What is the biggest cause once again? He has given you a hint. He has given you a hint. Desire.
Unfulfilled.
Expectation. Expectation. I come here, I expect that the lecture will go good. You go on a journey, you expect that the journey will be comfortable without any obstacles. You watch the match, you expect India will. Expectation. Right? Your son is going out of the home, you expect that he will go safely. Right? You are getting married, you expect it will be a good life. Each moment, not a single moment goes in our life where there is no expectation. So, kaise Gujarati mein expectation? અપેક્ષા. એક ક્ષણ જાતો નથી આપણા જીવનની અંદર જ્યારે અપેક્ષા નથી. You come and you sit over here, there is expectation. It will be good, interesting. Right? So, if we start now, if we start observation now, after how many years will we be free of expectation? And don't have an expectation to be free of expectation. An expectation. Free of expectation. We expect the good to happen. We expect the good to happen. I'm going for an exam, I expect the good to happen. I go to a restaurant to eat food, I expect the good to happen. And when it does not happen, we react. When it does not happen, we react. And this is a continuous thing which goes on in us. So, till there is expectation in us, we cannot move up the steps of freedom. Can you understand how difficult it is? How difficult. What is that old song? Ke sara sara. Will I be happy? Will I be rich? So, expectation. So, man expects that life should always be good to him. And he doesn't realize that this is the cause for his deepest hypnosis. Right? So, every action invites an opposite action. It's very difficult, very, very difficult. See, deep down, all of us want the moon. There is that inner thing that life should be good. Life has to be good. Life has to be comfortable. Life should not bring difficulties. Right? Deep down, there is a constant asking for this. Constant asking. And we have to take our observing eye behind that asking to be free of it. It is hard work because it is all 24 hours. We want to fly higher and higher and reach the sun. But we don't realize that we'll get burnt on the way unless our level of being changes. Right? Greek mythology has this, story of Icarus and Daedalus. Right? And Daedalus was the father. And he was the person who built that maze for Minos, the king of Crete. He was a great architect. And then he did not like what the king was doing, putting people inside to be killed by a half animal, half man called Minotaur. So the king imprisoned him. So Daedalus decided to escape, and he designed wings for him and his son Icarus. Right? And when they put on the wings, they were going to escape from Crete. And he tells him, don't fly too high, don't fly too low. If you fly too low, right, the moisture of the sea will make the wax with which the wings are attached to your shoulders, make it hard. You won't be able to flap your wings. And if you fly too high, the sun will melt your wings, the wax, and the wings will fall. Right? So we take this as a sensual story. It's not a sensual story. Right? It is, the sun is something within us. The sun is something within us, our inner sun. Tat savitur varenyam, that inner sun. And we want to get everything without changing ourselves. And so Icarus flew too close to the sun and his wax melted, his wings fell down and he fell into and now the sea is named after him. The Icarian Sea. It is named after him. And he fell in the sea. It's a legend, a story which tells some truth. The sun is our higher self. And if we are not ready, if we are still living with the old patterns, the old habits, the old attitudes, everything, with that we cannot go to the sun. We'll burn. Our wings will burn. We have to change before we go. And we feel somewhere that we will go higher and higher by getting more in life. Some more gadgets, some more money, a better place to live, a better car to go out in. We feel that we'll come to the sun. I'll be fulfilled. We feel this will bring us some inner peace inside. And our whole life is wasted in changing outer circumstances. Whole life. That I have no money, so I'm living in a state of anxiety and misery, right? Now somehow I get some money. Does it change the anxiety and misery? It cannot change it. It cannot change it. Can you understand what I'm saying? Whether I have money or I do not have money, the quality of life which is going to come to meet me will be the same. With money, it will bring some other kind of anxiety, maybe some kind of depression or God knows what. Right? Without money, it will bring some other kind of anxiety. But unless I change the anxiety, I'll keep on inviting the same anxiety. I change. And we feel that something can change outside, just a little bit more. Only if my wife listens to me, everything can be so good. ગુજરાતી કરો? હા કેજો જ્યાં ગુજરાતી કરો.
ગુજરાતી
હા
કરો ગુજરાતી.
વાર્તા તો સમજી ગયા ને, આઈકારસ ડેડિનસ કે જે સૂર્ય છે એ આપણી અંદરનો સૂર્ય, એટલે જે આત્મતત્વ છે એ સૂર્ય છે. એટલે આપણે જ્યારે ગાયત્રી મંત્ર એટલે બહારનો સૂર્યને નથી કહેતા, અંદરનો સૂર્યને, રાઈટ? ને આપણને એ શોધ છે, પણ આપણને એમ લાગે છે કે વસ્તુઓથી એ શોધ ભરાઈ જશે, કે મને કંઈ નવું ઘર મળે, થોડાક પૈસા વધારે મળે તો એનાથી મને તૃપ્તિ આવી જશે, પણ એ શક્ય નથી. હા, એ એના જેવું છે કે સૂર્ય પાસે હું ઉડું પણ મારા પાંખ હવે કપાઈ જશે. એટલે જીવનમાં કંઈ બદલતું નથી, રાઈટ? પૈસા નહોતા ત્યારે એક જાતની ચિંતા હતી, પૈસા આવી જાય છે પછી બીજી જાતની ચિંતા આવે છે. પણ મારું જે લેવલ ઓફ બીઈંગ એવું છે કે એ ચિંતાને જ આમંત્રિત કરશે. જીવનમાં પૈસા આવવાથી કંઈ બદલાતું નથી. આ જો પકડાઈ જાય તો કે હું શું આમંત્રિત કરું છું એ અંદર જો બદલાય તો જીવન બદલાશે. આટલું પકડાવું જોઈએ. Second force. There are two areas of second force. There is second force in life and there is second force within me. Actually, there are three forces in life, external, and three forces within me. So, each moment, if I can observe the first force, each moment, if I can observe the first force, then slowly I'll be able to see the second force. But if I'm not observing the first force, I will not be able to see the second force. What is the first force? I've just told you. What is the first force? I expect things to go right. I always expect things to go right. And things never go right. Right? And we resist. And this resistance creates second force. Second force. Right? એટલે હર ક્ષણે આપણે રજગુણ અંદરથી ઉત્પન્ન કરીએ છીએ, કારણ કે હર ક્ષણે આપણી અપેક્ષા છે કે જીવન સારું જાશે. હર ક્ષણે છે, એક પણ ક્ષણ જાતું નથી એના વગર. It is every moment. Every moment. Right? તો હર ક્ષણે આપણે રજગુણ ઉત્પન્ન કરીએ છીએ તો એ તમગુણને આમંત્રિત કરવાનું છે. આ નિયમ છે. આ નિયમ છે. Now, supposing we use the events of life to become our teacher. बहुत सुंदर व्यक्ति હતા વિમલા ઠાકર. I don't know નામ સાંભળ્યું છે કે have you heard her name? વિમલા ઠાકર. She's written a number of books and I had the opportunity to know her very well from 1984, but I knew her from 1973. And after Abdullah Bapu left, then I was in America for some time at the Osho Ashram in America. And then I came back to India and I went to her, started going to her camps, and for a couple of years I used to go to her camps till I met Mr. Tavaria in 88. And whenever we would sit down, the first thing she would say is, there is only one Guru. And what is that? Life. There is only one Guru, and the Guru is life. Life is the ultimate Guru. Why is it the ultimate Guru? And if we understand this, then the search for a guru drops. Actually, we cannot search for a guru. If some guru is going to find us, he will come and look. Right? Because we will only find a guru according to our habits, our expectations, our comforts, our level of understanding, and nothing beyond. Right? It's not nothing much to talk about. Right? So that is all. Level of being attracts life. So many people come to me and say, oh, this guru, he's attracting so many disciples. But that is the level of being. The people are attracted to that. So the ultimate guru is life. The ultimate teacher is life. Now, in this, how does life teach us? In which way does life teach us? So simple. By sending second force. By sending second force. By sending obstacles in our life. A second force, क्या है वो? You know, you see a young child, and he's got beautiful toys. Some people's homes I go, and the child has so many toys and such beautiful toys. And if you observe the child playing with the toys, everything is going so perfect. He has one, what do you call? You know, in his hand he has a remote, and the train is going like this, up and down the tracks and all that. Right? And there's a car racing and etc. And then after some time the child gets bored. So what does he do? He takes one car and smashes it against another car. Right? I think God must have been a child. Initially he must have said that everything should be very happy in everyone's life. And then one day he got bored. One day he got bored and he said, better send second force. I forgot to create Tamago. Where to send second force. Then some excitement in life. Otherwise everybody is going to get bored. Right? So, how do we make life the guru? How do we make life the guru? Tell me. We use the obstacles of life, we use the suffering of life, and we transform the suffering into something higher. If we have understood so much, then we've understood the whole secret of transformation. Then life is the ultimate guru. Every moment, life in some form or the other is sending a second force. Every moment. Every moment. How am I working with it? Am I willing to accept it? Or am I resisting it? It starts from there. It starts from there. જીવન હર ક્ષણે obstacles, શું કહે, અડચણ મોકલ્યા જ કરે છે. તમગુણ મોકલ્યા જ કરે છે. હું કઈ એટીટ્યુડથી એમને જોઉં છું? સ્વીકૃતિનો ભાવ છે કે ઘર્ષણનો ભાવ છે? બસ ત્યાં નક્કી થઈ જાય. જો સ્વીકૃતિનો ભાવ હોય તો એ જે અડચણ જીવને મોકલ્યું એમાંથી હું ઉપર ઉઠી શકીશ. જીવન ગુરુ બની ગયો. Life becomes the guru. Second force takes many forms. Dislike, irritation, anger, self-pity, justification, pride, vanity, jealousy, envy. All these are forms of second force. Two things happen. One, the obstacle which came in my life, જે મારા જીવનમાં ઘર્ષણ આવ્યું, જે મારા જીવનમાં તમગુણ મને મળવા આવ્યું, I could not use it. I could not use that obstacle. Second thing, because I am negative, I am in a state of identification. I am not able to extract consciousness. So every moment life is there. Every moment life is sending obstacles. Because I have an expectation that tomorrow will be good, right? And each moment I learn to accept the obstacles, rise above them, transform that within me which is inviting suffering. This is all that sadhana is about. Amma, where do you have to read any books? Where do you have to go to learn to anybody? Why do you come to the lecture also? I don't know. So simple. So simple. But we keep fighting. We keep fighting. So the whole idea is to bring consciousness to the situation. But this expectation that life will go good for me tomorrow is our deepest mechanical habit. Deepest mechanical habit. It happens so automatically. So automatically. Right? I will go on a holiday, I will enjoy. Right? It happens so automatically. Now, if we can understand this much, that whenever life does not go our way, things do not go our way, we will say we are not going to be unhappy. We are not going to be unhappy. We are not going to fight with life. We are not going to resist life. This will bring a kind of understanding. Right? Now, try to understand second force in life, second force within ourselves. Two different second forces. Supposing a person is in jail, what is the second force in life? What is the second force? The bars of the jail, the guards, the security system. If he wants to escape from the jail, all this is second force. એક વ્યક્તિ જેલમાં છે, રાઈટ, એને જેલમાંથી જો ભાગવું હોય તો સેકન્ડ ફોર્સ શું છે? તો પહેલા તો બારીના સરિયા, ગાર્ડ્સ, સિક્યોરિટી સિસ્ટમ જે હોય બધું, રાઈટ. હવે સપોઝિંગ વી device a plan how to escape from the jail. But there is second force inside of me. What will it be? Fear. Fear. Everything can still be good, but there is still what is within me? Fear. Fear. Have you seen this in life? Have you seen this in life? Where have you seen it in life? I see it every day. That is why I am asking you. I see it every day. કઈ જગ્યાએ તમે જોયું છે કે સરિયા તો બધાય તૂટી ગયા છે, કોઈ ગાર્ડ કરવા વાળું પણ નથી, કોઈ સિક્યોરિટી અલાર્મ પણ નથી, પણ ભયના કારણે મનુષ્ય જેલમાંથી છૂટી નથી શકતો. Where do you see it? Where do you see it? Come on, so easy. So
Within
easy.
ourselves?
Haji?
Within ourselves.
Yeah, within ourselves, but I'm asking in other sense. Right? You must know so many people in this situation. Don't take their names. Where, in what kind of situation do you see it? One person has a very good life, right? He has money, he has all the comforts of life. So there are no, what do you call, bars to the windows. There is no alarm system. There are no guards. He is free from the jail. But there is fear inside that what will happen tomorrow. આવતીકાલની ચિંતા છે. તો જેલમાં છે કે નથી? જેલમાં છે. Right? He's got fear. What will happen tomorrow? He's worrying. He doesn't want to escape from the jail, even though he's out of the jail. Doesn't want to escape from the jail. Right? So there is one second force outside the bars of the jail and one second force inside. Now, say happiness. Happiness. I want to be happy in life. Right? નથી લગ્ન કરતા લોકો પછી આવે કે ભાઈ બસ જીવન સુખથી જાય અને આપણે પણ આશીર્વાદ આપવું પડે કે ભાઈ સુખથી જાય. ખબર હોય આપણને, ખબર હોય ને, we have to say સુખી રહે, સુખી રહે. Happiness, happiness. Supposing, is my happiness waiting for something to happen? Some event to happen? My daughter phoned me 2 days ago that I got so much percentage. I said, don't worry, be happy. Be happy. Enjoy it. Very good. Be happy. So, are we waiting for something to happen in our life which will make us happy? Then we are in jail. Then we are in jail. We are in jail. Something tomorrow should happen that I become happy. Then I'm definitely in jail. Now, supposing we were to observe inside, is there a lot within us just now which is already making us unhappy? Try to think about it. અત્યારે જ આપણી અંદર ઘણું બધું એવું છે જે આપણને અત્યારે જ દુખી કરે છે, એને આપણે પકડી શકીએ છીએ? Supposing I have an attitude that this type, so okay, I will not see these kind of movies, right? I only see art films. Of course, art films are the most boring films, right? But so, will that attitude make me happy or unhappy? Unhappy, right? So, how much within me is there just now which at this moment is making me unhappy? Can I find it? Can I look for it? Now try to see people conducting forces. Try to see people conducting forces. Supposing I go to a shop. I see somebody is greedily eyeing some dress or some shirt or something. Right? Ekdam suka hypnotized. So, what force is that person conducting for me? What force? Tamas. Right? He's conducting the passive force. I'm going to say, what a greedy person. What a greedy person. Now supposing instead of that, I say, oh, this shirt which he's looking at, or this dress which he's looking at is such a good dress, such a beauty, I should also have this dress. Then which force is he conducting for me? Desire, first force, Rajagun. See, so the same person in one instance is conducting one force, in another instance he's conducting another force. The person is the same, he's looking at the same thing with the same eyes. But it is within me which my attitude to life, whether I see him as a greedy person or I see this dress is a beautiful dress. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? So this shifting flux of life has to be studied. It has to be studied because every moment a different force is being conducted. Something which is attractive one moment reverses the next moment. Supposing we have fallen in love. We have fallen in love. Then everywhere we see first force being conducted. Right? Everywhere we see first force conducted. Then nothing is negative in life. And today I am in hate. Right? I am in hate. Then everything is an obstacle. I'll say the color of your dress is not good. Right? But I don't see which attitude, which mood I am in. Right? Now, to understand that first force is acting within us, creating second force, we have to understand that before the conductor comes, the forces are not active, passive or neutralizing. It is when they pass through a conductor, they become active or passive. Where do we see this each moment of our life? Where do we see this each moment of our life? Where do we see this? In the prana. In the prana. Right? So if the prana is neutral, the prana is neutral. Right? When the prana is moving through the right nostril, that is, when it is moving through Pingala, it becomes positive. And when it is moving through Ida, it becomes negative. The prana is not positive or negative, but the conductor, can you see the conductor which is Ida or Pingala, right nostril or left nostril? The conductor gives it a charge. Right? So, similarly, the force is not anything. It is which conductor. Which conductor are we giving it? The conductor is the attitude with which we look at it. That makes it the conductor. But my whole subconscious mind is full of negativity. I dislike everything in life. Right? And all people who come, they've come to cheat me only. Yeah.
I don't understand how prana is related to attitudes.
No, I'm just giving it as an example that before the prana goes in, it is neither positive or negative. The minute it goes into the right, it gets a positive charge. If it goes into the left, it gets a negative charge. So the conductors, that is Pingala and Ida, which are the conductors of prana, they are positive or negative. Similarly, these three forces are only force. Which conductor do you give it? You get it? Right? Life brings an obstacle to us. It is just a force. But if I am fighting with that obstacle, it becomes a conductor of negative force, second force. If that same obstacle becomes something within me to create some new creativity, it will conduct first force. You understand what I'm trying to say? So, what I'm trying to say is that before the conductor comes, the forces are free. They are free. It is at the point of creation that one of them becomes positive, one of them becomes negative, and one of them becomes neutralizing. Active, passive, neutralizing. એટલે એની પેલા એ તમસ રજસ સત્વ નથી, એ પ્યોર પ્રકૃતિ છે. But point of application, એ જે જગ્યાએ વ્યક્ત થયા એમાંથી આ ત્રણ બની ગયા. આ જો પકડાય કે it is not the force, it is the conductor of the force. Which conductor do I have in my safe deposit vault? Which conductor do I have? Supposing the red conductor is what do you call Rajagun, that is active. The yellow conductor is passive, and the black conductor is neutralizing. Which one am I collecting all the time? The yellow conductor. So every time I collect a pattern of negativity within me, right? And I have been collecting these patterns for thousands of years of negative patterns. Small irritation, small anger, small I blast over there. I've been collecting these patterns. I'm collecting yellow wire in my safe deposit vault. Now, life wants to come to meet me every moment as a force. But I have only one conductor to give it, that please give me obstacles. આ સમજાય છે હું શું કહેવા માંગુ છું? કે જીવન હર ક્ષણે મને મળવા માંગે છે. જીવન ન્યુટ્રલ છે, કોઈ પણ ઘટના ન્યુટ્રલ છે. પણ એને હું કયો વાયર આપું છું એ પ્રમાણે એ એક્ટિવ, પેસિવ કે ન્યુટ્રલાઇઝ. મારી પાસે તિજોરીમાં પેસિવ જ વાયર છે, તમગુણ જ ભરેલું છે. So desire or wish is the first force. It will create a second force according to the nature of the original desire. And continual desire is continual creation of second force. Sometimes the second force will appear immediately. Sometimes it will appear after an interval. And many a time we will not even know when it has come. It will come so fast. So we will be expecting it in a certain form. It will come in a totally different form. So the second thing is, for us, even though we say second force is in life, real second force is within us. And then it takes some form in life, that I did not get the job, I did not pass the exam. That is the form it takes. But the second force was lying within us. And if we are continuously asking, I want a better house, I want a better car, I want a little more money, right? These are all, it looks so rosy and nice, but actually these are all pictures of second force, tamagu. Now, back to self-observation. We will also experience second force in the work. I will try to breathe in rhythm for 5 minutes. I will not be able to breathe. From somewhere, some obstacles will come. Many of us live under the illusion that we can do whatever we want in life. આપણે બધાએ આવું કંઈક અંદર હોય કે મારે જે કરવું હતું કરી શકું છું. And many people meet me and they say કે હા, હું ધાર્યું હોત તો આટલો હું કમાઈ લેત. હા, મેં ધાર્યું હોત તો આમ પણ કરી શકત. If I wanted to, I could have earned so much money. If I wanted to, I would have become the Prime Minister. They still have, even though nothing has worked out in their life, they still have not accepted the existence of second force. What is the quality of my being? My being. My guru used to call it our structure of acceptance. What is my spectrum? What can I invite from life? Can I invite the higher, or is my spectrum of that kind that each moment it is going to only invite the lower? Maru spectrum kai jatnu che, maru structure, maru level of being. And it is only through self-observation that we observe all that is mechanical in us. We separate from it. And when we separate from it, the quality of our life changes on its own. Okay, now let's go back to yesterday. Yesterday we talked about many people feel that God created the world. God created the दुनिया कोने बनायु? भगवान. Okay, now what do we say? What do we say? God created the three forces. God did not create the world. એને આ દુનિયા બનાવી નથી. He created the three forces. And they created the world according to their laws of order. God did not create the world. He created the three forces. And out of these three forces, one force is the passive force. Tamaguru. Right? So we must understand this, that in the very nature of creation, and why did he have to do this? Why did he have to do this? Why did he have to do this? Why in the nature of creation did he have to keep one force which is a resisting force? Which is a resisting force. Why did he have to do this? To create balance. Yes, there's so many reasons. So many reasons. No? To create the material of life, to create balance. Right? But let's try to take it another way. Without second force, can we grow? જેને આપણે તપ કહીએ છીએ. ઘર્ષણ વગર તપ થઈ શકે? મને કહો. બધું જો જીવનમાં આવો એકદમ સરખું જાતું હોય, ડિપ્રેશન આવી શકે, તપ ન થઈ શકે. So to grow we need obstacles. So he created the world, and one of the forces he created was the passive force. What other reason could there be? Supposing life is a game. Life is we call it in our place as Leela. Game, the drama, the cosmic drama. So in the game, if there is a bowler, there has to be a batsman. Right? બંને એક જ ટીમમાં હોય તો નહીં ચાલે. If they're both in the same team, it's not going to work. They have to be in opposing teams. So the very basis of creation, there have to be two forces opposing each other. This is the very basis of creation. And once we understand this, we know that every step we take in life will invite difficulties. But those difficulties, we can grow through them. We can transform them into tapa, into the heat of purification. Because if everything went the way we wanted to, there would be no consciousness in life. So the very cloth of life, the very fabric of life, one of the strings is difficulties. 3 strings, one of the strings is difficulties. Now please study second force within ourselves. Supposing we feel that we are suffering something unfairly, not rightly. Right? Again, bring consciousness over there. Use that suffering. Don't run away from that suffering. Now, wherever these obstacles come, what do we usually say in life? We want to find a solution. We want to find a solution. We want to find a solution which takes away the second force, which is preventing the first force to take us to our objective. આપણું એક લક્ષ્ય છે, એ લક્ષ્ય તરફ આપણે જઈએ છીએ, પણ અડચણો આવી ગયા. હવે કોઈક રસ્તો આપણને મળી જાય કે આ જે સેકન્ડ ફોર્સ એટલે અડચણોને આપણે બાયપાસ કરી શકીએ અને આપણું લક્ષ્ય સુધી પહોંચી જાય. So the right way to find any solution in life is not by denying. એટલે પહેલી વસ્તુ, don't get into a state of denying. Don't get into a state of negating. Don't get into a state of violence. Don't get into a state of aggression. આટલું જરા અંદરથી જોજો. At least separate this much that, okay, obstacles have come in my life. I don't want to fight with them. I don't want to force them. I don't want to be aggressive about them. I don't want to deny them. They are already there. I don't want to be negative about them. The third force is always a reconciling force. It makes the first and second force meet. Right? So learn the art of peacekeeping. Peacekeeping. Right? Last night I was seeing one serial. Right? So one Pakistani plane with a atomic bomb in it by mistake crashed in Indian territory. Right? So the Indian Prime Minister and the Pakistani Prime Minister are in America. Right? So the Indian Prime Minister says that we will not allow the Pakistani people to take the bomb back. We will keep it in India. And the Pakistani Prime Minister says that you have to give it back. Right? So now how to avert a war? By then all the Pakistani army had come on the border and they were ready to enter into India. Then the American, satellites which were above, they were taking pictures and they said this is not a nuclear bomb, they have a hydrogen bomb. And sometimes I feel these serials are not just ordinary serials, they have some kind of way of knowing things which we poor ordinary people don't know, right? So the satellite above took a picture and said this is a hydrogen bomb, right? And now there's a problem. How did they get the technology to make a hydrogen bomb? So the American president is shouting at all his secret service people that they created a hydrogen bomb. None of you all even know that they have created a hydrogen bomb. Right? And the Indian Prime Minister is saying, of course in the serial they have not shown a man, they've still shown a woman. Right? And she's saying that I'm not going to allow them to take the bomb. Anyway, then you have to find a in-between way, reconciling. Right? So the Americans offered the Indian Prime Minister so much of concessions. We'll give you nuclear this, we'll give you this, that, and everything. You please allow. The bomb will not be taken to Pakistan, it will be taken by us American people. Right. So they found a third way. Now the Pakistani Prime Minister, he cannot show to his country that he allowed the American people to take the bomb. So they find out a way around about this. What I'm trying to say is that in life, obstacles will come, but we have to work as finding our way around. Then slowly we'll have some relationship with third force in life. Some relation. But if we are aggressive, if we are in a fighting mood, okay, I will not give the bomb back, right? Then we will never be able to work with third force. We have to create this new attitude within us. Now, usually in such a situation, we go into a monologue. So I'm just giving you a way of how to work with second force in life. So usually in such a situation, we go into a monologue. What is a monologue? One person. We are talking to ourselves. So definitely when the Indian Prime Minister is not talking to the American President, she is talking to herself. I will not, even if they do this, I will not give the bomb to them, right? Okay, she is talking inside to herself. Now, is this creating more second force or less second force? More second force. Can you understand the attitude I am in? Right? An obstacle has come in my life, right? But the inner monologue has started. The inner monologue has started, right? Now, what would be the right way over here? Because we all go into this inner monologue. We go into the bathroom and buck is going on inside, right? I did not marry you for this. Right? So it's a monologue. What can we do to transform this? Now we want to come to we want to find a solution. We want to find a solution. So what can we do? We change the monologue into a dialogue. We change the monologue into a dialogue. Right? And this is one very simple technique to be free of this inner chattering. Change the monologue into dialogue. Transform it. Because you're doing a conscious action. This inner chattering which goes on all the time. We have talked about it a lot. Right? So transform that monologue into a dialogue. Put the Pakistani Prime Minister in front of you. Let him say, then you say, let him say. And as you are changing the monologue into a dialogue, a solution will appear to you. But as long as you are chattering to yourself, no solution will appear. You will still be in a state of aggression. I want to fight it. I want to negate it. I want to be aggressive about it. You'll never find a solution. So the right way to find a solution, right, is transform your what do you call into a dialogue. So the first thing what we do is whenever obstacles come in our life, we are not in a state of negation, aggressiveness, fighting. Second thing, we immediately look at the inner monkey which starts chattering, and we say we translate this monologue into a dialogue, right? And we put both the people there and we observe them talking to each other. As we transform it into two, the third will appear, the real solution will appear to us. But as long as we are chattering to ourselves, the solution cannot appear. Right? If we have a lot of willpower, then maybe I'll take a stick and tell you to go away, but it's not going to work in the long run. Right? Now, what will be the outcome of this? What will be the outcome of this? Relating to will, which we just talked about just now. What will be the outcome of this? In relation to will. What kind of will do we have now? And if we go through this process, what kind of will we have? Supposing you and I have a fight, right? So now my monkey is chattering. I won't allow her to do this, right? She does not understand this, that, everything. So it is a monologue. It is a monologue. You have come in my life as a second force, obstacle. Archan tarike. Come as second force. Now I am chattering. Suddenly I become aware of the situation, self-remembering. I remember. I say, okay, I don't want to be aggressive about this. I don't want to be in a state of negation. I don't want to resist. I look at the situation. So the monkey calms down a little. Then I put you inside and I am also there. And I allow both to have and I allow you to say whatever you want to say. Till now, I alone was saying against you. You get it? You are not allowed to say anything back. It was me who was taking a sword and cutting you to pieces. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? I was giving it everything to you, right? Now I allow you to say whatever you want to me. This will take some practice. Now when you are also talking and I am also talking, the real solution to the problem will come. How to find a way in this? What will happen? Initially I would have used my willpower to shut you up. Or either you will use yours to shut me up. Right? That is how we normally approach all our problems. Right? Now, through this dialogue, I see a third thing, something third. And that third always descends. It comes from somewhere. Right? So that I see the third, which is a solution which balances you and me. What happens to my willpower? That willpower which was aggressive. I want to show her, I want to do this to her, I want to do that to her. Right? What happens to that willpower? It transforms into real will. It transforms into real will. This real will is not aggressive. This real will is very soft, very beautiful. Something new will grow inside. This real will cannot shout at anyone. You get what I'm trying to say? And as you practice this real will, as it grows within us, my guru used to call it spiritual will. Spiritual will. As this real will, in any situation you will start immediately seeing the solution. Because now you have the will to will the solution. Not the willpower to change the outer circumstances. You have the will to see the real solution. Right? And this will is the most beautiful thing in life. Once we start getting it in flashes, one day it will relate us to the third force. So, at present we don't even know what we are asking for. As we practice this, we'll start seeing second force. We'll stop fighting with second force. Right? And our willpower will transform into spiritual will. Right? And a time will come when second force will become our friend. It will become our friend. Right? So, Patanjali says, Dukh Sathe Maitri Bhav. Dukh Sathe, what is your approach to pain in life? What should be your approach to suffering in life? Maitri Bhav. Maitri means friendship. Become a friend to suffering. Become a friend to pain. Right? So, as we practice this, pain and suffering will become our friend. Right? That means it will not come pain will not come in our life. That doesn't mean that, but we will not suffer. We will not suffer. Simple thing. I may be frightened of an operation, right? But I make pain my friend. That does not mean I will not have pain in the operation. I will not suffer the pain any longer. I am free of the suffering. Can you understand what I am trying to say? Right? But you have to pass through this process. As long as we are fighting, it can never happen. So this was just a small talk on second force in our life. Tomorrow we'll go a little further. I want to also go into law of octaves and the law of seven. Right? Any questions, anyone else? Yeah.
Richard, I understand the chattering is the monologue. In the dialogue, do you visualize someone else with you?
Yeah.
Is it visualizing?
You can visualize. You can become that person. You see, because you have given me pain. So I am saying all kinds of things to you inside here. Right? Now, I have to allow you to say something also, no?
What if it's not related to a person? This chattering is not related to a person.
It could be related to any incident in life. It could be related to any incident in life. Now put both the incidents together. The incident was comfortable, the incident was uncomfortable, and create a dialogue between the two.
Rajan Bhai? Does listening with trying to understand the other person's point of view also a form of helping?
Yeah, it is. Listening is very good. But what I'm trying to tell you is create an inner dialogue. Okay. In that inner dialogue, the third will come. You're creating two poles within yourself. And something else will come, which will be a solution, which will balance the two.
Is this what you've been speaking of the same as when they say surrender? When they say surrender?
Surrender your aggression. Right? Just now, I am aggressive about what has happened in my life. Surrender that aggression. Surrender the negativity. So you create space for you to work. If you don't surrender the negativity, if you're holding on to resentment, then you will approach the problem through resentment only. Right? I can tell you very clearly, through negativity, through resentment, whatever decision you take, even if it is the right, it can never be right. Because it has come from the wrong source. Yeah. કઈ ગુજરાતી કરવાનું હોય તો કહેજો. Anything else? Okay, should I start the law of 7 tomorrow? Then we'll come back to the law of 3, the law of octaves. Okay, I'll start tomorrow. So then we can take both the laws in conjunction. Once you understood that, then right. And then there is a whole diagram of understanding both the laws together. So if I get time, I can also take that diagram. It's called the enneagram. So let's see. Okay. Jai Shri Krishna.
Yes.
Thank you. Good night. I think yesterday was a little heavy. But I'll take a little break today. Now we talked about the three forces. What is force? What is force? What is the difference between force and energy? What is force? Because we are talking of the three forces, right? And the three forces are in everything. So what is force?
Force is the pressure applied to a point.
Okay. So we'll say that there is energy, but when energy takes a will, it becomes force, right? Supposing in my life I learn these exercises, but I do not practice these exercises. That does not mean I do not have energy, but I do not have force. I do not have force.
Force એટલે ચાલક બળ
બળ
ને
બળ
એનર્જી એટલે શક્તિ.
પણ બળની અંદર સંકલ્પ શક્તિ છે. એનર્જી એમને પડેલી છે તો એની અંદર સંકલ્પ શક્તિ નથી.
એટલે ફોર્સનું ગુજરાતી આપણે બળ કરીએ.
બળ કરવું પડે. So force has will, and we see that the three forces have three different wills. Three different wills. One wants to do, the other wants to create obstacles in what to do. Can you understand? So these three wills, they penetrate the whole of existence. Right? એટલે એનર્જીની અંદર જ્યારે સંકલ્પ શક્તિ આવે છે ત્યારે શું બને છે? ફોર્સ. બલ શબ્દ નથી વાપરતો. ફોર્સ. રાઈટ? એટલે કદાચ એમ આપણે ગણીએ કે મારી પાસે એનર્જી હોય પણ કંઈ કામ કરવાનું ફોર્સ ન હોય, એટલે હું એમને બેઠો રહું. રાઈટ? પછી કંઈક હું મેડિકલ રિપોર્ટ કરાવું ને એમાં આવે કે ભાઈ જરા કોલેસ્ટ્રોલ વધી ગયું છે, તો તરત જ ફોર્સ આવી જાય એક્સરસાઇઝ કરવાનો. બીજે દિવસથી એક્સરસાઇઝ કરવાનો ફોર્સ આવી જાય. તો એ જે કોલેસ્ટ્રોલ વધી ગયું છે એ became a conductor for active force. એનર્જી તો પડેલી હતી. Right? So force is different from energy. Now we are studying force. Three forces. Now, supposing we want to practice self-observation, do we need force? Do we need force? We have to make an effort. પ્રયત્ન કરવો પડે છે. રાઈટ? પતંજલિ શું કહે છે? અભ્યાસનું ડેફિનેશન શું આપે છે? વોટ ડઝ પતંજલિ સે? ધ ડેફિનેશન ઓફ અભ્યાસ, રાઈટ? પ્રયત્ન. તત્ર સ્થિતો યત્ન અભ્યાસ. એ યોગની સ્થિતિ માટે તમે જે પ્રયત્ન કરો છો એની માટે એનું નામ છે અભ્યાસ. રાઈટ? So there is an effort involved. And effort means active force. So, if we are lacking in force, if we do not have force, then we cannot make the effort for self-observation. We do not have the force. Now today we are going to look at force from three viewpoints. Three separate viewpoints. I just write them down. So we look at force from 3 points, 3 angles. Loss of force. Now if I can stop loss of force, what do I get? Gain of force. Gain of force. So if I can stop the loss of force, I get gain of force. And the third, which is completely different, it is creation of new force. Creation of new force. Right? એટલે ત્રણ આયામથી ફોર્સને આપણે જોશું આજે. રાઈટ? 1, જે ફોર્સ આપણી અંદર છે પણ વેડફાઈ જાય છે. બીજું, એ જો વેડફવાનું બંધ થાય તો આપણને ફોર્સ મળે. ગેઇન એટલે શું? આપણને મળે, આપણને ફોર્સની પ્રાપ્તિ થાય. પણ નવો બલ, નવો ફોર્સ આપણે અંદરથી એને જગાડી શકીએ, ક્રિએટ કરી શકીએ. એ ત્રીજું. આ 3 આયામથી આપણે ફોર્સને જોશું from 3 different angles. So we lose force in many different ways, and if we plug those ways, if we plug where the water is leaking, right, then we have more water in the tank. But if the pipe is leaking everywhere, then there is less water in the tank, right? So we have to plug the loopholes. Plug the loopholes where the force is leaking all the time, right? એટલે ફોર્સ આપણી કઈ કઈ જગ્યાએ વેડફાય છે. પાણી ચાલે છે પણ પાઇપની અંદર કાણા બહુ છે, રાઈટ? તો પછી ટાંકીની અંદર પાણી જેટલું પહોંચવાનું હતું એનાથી અડધું પણ નથી પહોંચતું. રસ્તાની અંદર વેડફાઈ ગયું. તો એ જે જગ્યાએ ફોર્સ આપણું વેડફાઈ જાય છે ત્યાં પહેલા આપણે ડાટા દેવા પડે. Right? So we have to plug the losses of force. Then we may come to a state where we create new force. By plugging the losses of force, we will gain new force, and we may come to a state where we can create new force. This new force is created by self-remembering. Till now we have talked about self-observation. We have not talked about self-remembering. Self-remembering. Right? તો આપણે જો જ્યાં જ્યાં પાણી વેસ્ટ થાય છે એ બંધ કરશું તો એટલું પાણી આપણને પ્રાપ્તિ થશે, મળશે. પણ નવું પાણી અંદરથી ઉત્પન્ન કેમ કરશું? તો એ એક જ રીતે ઉત્પન્ન થાય, થ્રુ સેલ્ફ રિમેમ્બરિંગ. આત્મસ્મરણથી થાય. આત્મસ્મરણથી થાય. First of all, there must be a study of loss of force. And this study cannot be an external study. It comes through self-observation. Right? So as we observe ourselves, we suddenly realize all the places where we are losing force. આપણે કઈ કઈ જગ્યાએ વેડફીએ છીએ. Force આપણી મૂડી છે. Right? It is our capital. આપણે કઈ કઈ જગ્યાએ વેડફીએ છીએ. I think I had talked once about where we get this force from. I've talked once or twice, I think I've talked, but I'm going to repeat it. Let's see if anyone remembers. Where this force for self-observation, this force for awakening from life, from the deep sleep of life in which we live, where do we get that force? What is the source of that force? જે બલ આપણને મળે છે જીવનના સપનામાંથી જાગવાનો, એ બલ આપણને કઈ જગ્યાથી મળે છે? I think twice I've talked about it in the last few years. Where do we get it from? What is the source? The source. Yeah, but the sun means not the outer sun, from the inner sun. Right? આપણે આત્મા તરફ યાત્રા કરવી છે. We want to make a journey towards the inner spirit. The force, જે બલ જોઈએ આત્મા તરફ યાત્રા કરવાની, એ બલ આપણને કોણ આપે છે? એ બલ કોણ આપે છે આપણને? એ આત્મા જ આપે છે. The inner spirit, the inner sun, it itself gives the energy, the force to make that movement towards him. Towards him. When do we get that force? When do we get that force? When we go to sleep at night. When we go to sleep at night. It's very important to have a good sleep. Very, very important. Because we can get energy for all life purposes. From the food we eat, from the air we breathe, we can get energy for all life purposes. But we cannot get the energy for awakening from food. That is why there is nothing like sattvic food, because the energy doesn't come from there. The energy comes from the inner spirit. It comes from the inner spirit. Right? So when we sleep at night, the soul goes to meet the spirit. The soul goes to meet the spirit. It bathes in the spirit. રાત્રે જ્યારે આપણે સૂઈ જાય છે, આપણો જીવ આત્માને મળવા જાય છે. એ આત્માની અંદર નાઈ લે છે. એ નાઈ લે છે, એ બલ લઈને પાછો સવારે આપણે ઉઠીએ છીએ. That soul goes in, it has a bath in the spirit, and when we wake up in the morning, we wake up with a certain amount of force. Certain amount of force. It is only this force which can be used for awakening. It has come from Him, it is His gift, we use it to go back to Him. Right? So, first of all, we have to study the loss of force. In the morning, we wake up with 100 rupees in our pocket, right? But by 12 o'clock in the afternoon, there's nothing left. 12 o'clock in the afternoon, we are zero. All the money gone. Right? We lose this force mechanically. We lose this force mechanically. Now, yesterday we saw the ray of creation. The ray of creation. I'm going to repeat that in some way or the other. Please meditate upon that diagram. Very, very important diagram. Very important diagram. What does the diagram tell us? What does the diagram tell us? What does the diagram tell us? What does it tell us? Tell me. શું કહે છે એ diagram? what is the purpose of, what is man's place in the whole scheme of the ray of creation? Why has man been created? To provide energy. But now we are getting the secret over here. We are getting the secret over here. A certain special kind of energy was needed for the ray of creation to go ahead. Otherwise it would have stopped at the planets. Right? It would, then the last two nodes of the ray of creation, Earth and Moon. એના છેલ્લા બે જે છેડા છે, અર્થ અને મૂન, એ ન થાય, કંઈક સ્પેશલ એનર્જીની જરૂર પડે. રાઈટ? એટલે ફર્સ્ટ ધ ક્રિએટિવ ફોર્સિસ, the three forces, they created plant life. But they saw that through that plant life it is not possible. Then they created animal life. Now, plant life takes energy from the sun. It transforms that energy in its own body-brain system. And when the plant dies, it releases that energy into nature. That energy serves a certain purpose. Right? એટલે જે વનસ્પતિ જગત છે, એ સૂર્યમાંથી શક્તિ લે છે, એ શક્તિ પોતાની અંદર રૂપાંતરિત કરે છે, અને જ્યારે એ મરી જાય છે ત્યારે એ શક્તિ છોડે છે. એ શક્તિ કોના ઉપયોગમાં જાય છે? મૂનના ઉપયોગમાં જાય છે. The same thing with the animal kingdom. The animal kingdom takes energy from the sun, right? Transforms that energy, and when the animal dies, it releases that energy. Releases that energy. One day we will go into soul little, because it is the energy of the soul which is being released. Then the natural forces said that there is still something missing over here. અહીંયા હજી કંઈ ઘટે છે. પ્લાન્ટ લાઈફ શક્તિ લઈને આપી દે. શું કહેવાય, આપણે પ્રાણી જગત પણ શક્તિ લઈને આપી દે, પણ કઈ શક્તિ અહીંયા નથી. Something was missing. The one link was missing over here. Plants have a soul, they do not have a spirit. Animals have a soul, they do not have a spirit. And that energy, so all animals' energy comes from the sun. All plants' energy comes from the sun. But something was missing to bring evolution, to create the evolution of the moon to earth, earth to sun, sun to higher. One energy was missing, and this energy which comes from the inner sun. But plants don't have an inner sun. Animals do not have an inner sun. So they had to create man. They had to create man. એટલે મનુષ્યનું નિર્માણ થયું. મનુષ્યનું નિર્માણ શેની માટે થયું? કે જે શક્તિ વનસ્પતિમાંથી નથી મળતું, જે શક્તિ પ્રાણી જગતમાંથી નથી મળતું, અને જે લિંક જે જરૂરી હતી, એ મનુષ્યમાંથી મળે. અને એની માટે એ લોકોએ શું કરવું પડ્યું? મનુષ્યની અંદર આત્મ તત્વ મૂકવો પડ્યો.
What is that?
The spirit. The spirit. Right? So, there is something of the absolute in man. Something of the absolute of man. Man has an inner destiny. There is a seed in man which has come from God. And if man uses his life properly, he can allow that seed to flower. Right? So now man goes to sleep at night, his soul goes into the spirit, he takes the energy, and the minute he wakes up in the morning, nature wants that energy. Nature wants that energy. Right? And by 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, we have given all that energy to nature. It is the end of the matter. You live your normal life, but you don't have the energy to wake up from nature, to wake up from life. Sadhanaની શક્તિ તો 12 વાગ્યા સુધીમાં zero. Right? Okay. Now what is the key? How does nature steal this energy from us? How does nature steal this force from us? કઈ રીતે પ્રકૃતિ આપણી પાસેથી આ ફોર્સ છીનવી લે છે? Huh? Right, by something called identification. Something called identification. Right? Identification નું exact ગુજરાતી મળવું મુશ્કેલ છે, પણ આપણે identification વાપરીએ એનું આપણે જુદા જુદા રીતે જોશું.
તદ્રુપતા કે છે,
તદ્રુપતા, તાદાત્મ્યતા, કોઈ છે શબ્દો. It doesn't really say what we are trying to say. Identification. Nature steals this energy through identification. Now, we have to remember over here that man, as he is made in respect of nature, he is complete. He is absolutely complete. In his state of identification, nothing more has to be made. He takes that energy, gives it to nature. He is just a machine for giving energy to nature. So we must understand this. There is no need for man to wake up from life. There is no need. એ જરૂરી નથી માણસને આ સપનામાંથી જાગવું. એ સપનાની અંદર બરાબર તદ્રુપતાથી લે, તાદાત્મ્યથી લે તો એ પ્રકૃતિનું કામ તો કર્યા કરે છે, મશીનની જેમ જ. Right? That is why Gurdjieff used the word man is a machine. Man is a machine. Right? He's just fulfilling nature's purpose, nothing else. But because the creative forces had to put this seed in man, which was the spirit of the absolute, man has another destiny also. And that destiny can only be done through his self-consciousness. Because he has this Atma Tattva, he also has self-consciousness. Swa-Jagruti. Swa-Jagruti. વનસ્પતિમાં નથી, પ્રાણીઓમાં પણ નથી. Right? But man has this. And if he uses his self-consciousness properly, then he can escape from being just a machine of nature and rise to something totally different. He fulfills his real destiny with which he is born. But they had to do it. They had no other way. The creative forces. Right? So, we need force to wake up from the dream of life, from the sleep of life. And as long as we are continually losing force, we won't be able to hold self-observation even for a few seconds.
Is the transfer of energy proportional to the length of sleep?
Pardon?
Energy that we...
The quality of sleep. The quality of sleep will decide how much of energy we have taken. Right? So, sleep is a very funny thing, sir. Because today's man has become so different that if you don't give him sleep, there are 2-3 kinds of sleep. Say deep sleep and REM sleep. In REM sleep we are dreaming. Rapid eye movement. Right? If a man is starved of deep sleep, it is okay. But if he is starved of REM sleep, he goes mad. Can you understand? So for our normal life, we don't need deep sleep. We need REM sleep. Deep sleep has a different purpose. Deep sleep is a state of samadhi, where the soul and the atma meet. They meet. Deep sleep is a state of samadhi. And the longer we are in deep sleep at night, the more energy we have when we wake up. I'm not using the word energy over here, I'm using the word force. Force. Usually, after we go to sleep at night, within 15 to 20 minutes, we should be in deep sleep. Right? And that first deep sleep period should last for 1 hour. With modern man, now they have seen that it has been reduced to nearly 40 minutes. Can you understand? Right? So, man is going more and more into the hypnosis of life. He just doesn't have the energy to apply, the force to wake up, the force to make that effort. Because he's slowly even cutting himself from the source which gives him that force. That is modern life. Right? You're saying something here?
Does that mean that we need to sleep more?
No, because if you sleep more, you'll be dreaming more. And by the time you wake up, you won't have anything till 12 o'clock only. In your dream only, you'll lose all the force. Right? So, we want to go into deep sleep. Deep sleep.
You take sleeping tablets.
Sir, tell me really, sir. Tell me really. Have you experimented with sleeping tablets? I have. I have. Tell me really, do you go into deep sleep or do you go into a kind of sleep with more like something like you when you have alcohol or something, that kind of sleep? That is not deep sleep. Huh? That is not deep sleep. It is more a state, it is not a state of samadhi. It is a state of, what do you call it? Deep tamas. Deep tamas, what do you call it? Right? So sleeping pill cannot serve the purpose. Serve the purpose. Sleeping pill may be, effective if you've gone on a trip for many days and you're very, very tired and you need 1 night of good sleep. So for 1 night you take half a sleeping pill or one, right? So it helps you to relax the muscles and etc. But it cannot give you this.
What happens when you go for operation and they put you to sleep with the injection?
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Not the same thing. It's a very beautiful state when they give you an injection. It's a beautiful state. Actually, I'm waiting for my next operation. So, because it, it brings out all the tension from all the muscles, right? And you go into a very, very, some far away place.
I know when I had a bypass, I only woke up after 7 days. And I don't even know what went on.
It would be really wonderful, no, if we could, they could, there could be just a slight sensitivity, no? Just a slight sensitivity. I mean, we are totally unconscious, but just 1% or 0.5%. 1 cell is still awake somewhere. Huh? Right. Yeah, you say, yeah, sorry.
How do you know and how do you get deep sleep? How do you know you've had it or how do you promote it?
You wake up feeling refreshed. You wake up feeling refreshed. That comes from deep sleep.
I was told between 10 and 12 best time for sleep? Is that deep sleep?
See, my guru used to say after 11. But I would say that the minute you go to sleep, right, see that after 15 minutes you get at least 1 hour of good sleep. That is the most important time. Because then you come back into shallow sleep and then you go back into deep sleep. And the second period of deep sleep is not even half of the first period.
And when you can't go to sleep, you wake up.
Then some eyes are active, observe them. Never waste time. Never waste time. If you can't go to sleep, immediately start doing something creative.
So that tends to put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the minute you try to do something intellectual, right, the instinctive center doesn't want to give you energy to do something intellectual. It will make you feel sleepy.
I didn't mean it like that. I just meant that it's hard.
There are two things. You fall asleep and you go to sleep. There's a slight difference.
What is it?
Right? There's a slight difference. You fall in love and you rise in love. Must be a slight difference over there. Big difference over there. We all fall in love. It's very rare that somebody rises in love. Yeah.
Is there a way that we can create a climate or an environment where you can go into that deep samadhi on a regular basis?
Yeah. Why not?
Now, what would that be, or how would you do it?
You have to use some technique. You will use some breathing technique and bring about a breath change.
What is the technique?
See, in samadhi, samadhi is not an excuse of not doing self-observation. Right? It is a state of deep relaxation. You may have a glimpse of the fourth state of consciousness in samadhi. But it definitely does not mean you have achieved that fourth state of consciousness. That can only come when there is a transformation of the lower psychic nature. Many people achieve samadhi, right? They go into samadhi. But again, when they come back in their normal life, they have the same anger, the same jealousies, the same irritation. Nothing has changed. That experience of samadhi has not transformed the lower psychic nature. It has not purified the emotional center. Now, the key in any breathing technique to go into samadhi is that the balanced oxygen is transformed into ozone. The balanced oxygen is transformed into ozone. So, supposing you're doing any technique, pulling in, breathing out, you're holding the breath out. Say we take one cycle of breath where there is 20% oxygen. It mixes with the blood, and when we breathe out, there is only 16% oxygen. Say we take 15, right? So in one round of breath, there is 5% less oxygen that has been replaced by carbon dioxide. That is normal respiration. Normal respiration when we are breathing. Now, if we start breathing out, so there is very little oxygen left in the lungs keep a 1/3 balance, right? Now, with every round, 5% say is being converted. Of course, so much, because the instinctive center will become active, it will not allow that much to be converted. But we are saying that 5% is converted. So by then the level of carbon dioxide has gone up, the level of oxygen has gone down. Something happens at a certain point, and that level of the balanced oxygen which is there, from O2 it becomes O3. O3. The minute that happens, it's like taking a drug. No? You go into a state of Turiya, higher Samadhi. And you see, I had one Australian person used to come to my talks. And he then went to Lonavala to somebody's camp. I won't give the name of the person. Very famous. Even that person's daughter, she gives lectures on the Gita all over the world. And he told him that you become my disciple, I'll give you a glimpse of Turiya, the fourth state, Samadhi, fourth state of consciousness. So he came back to me and he said, you are telling me to do all these things, be free of negative emotion and this, and when will anything happen? And he is willing to give me a glimpse immediately. Right? So I said, this is the way I do it, and it is better you go to him. Right? And I could understand because he was very, very rich. Right? So if he goes to somebody would have an eye to attract this person. Right? So he went there. Now, what are they going to do? They'll teach you some breathing way of turning the, balanced oxygen into ozone. You will go into Samadhi. Right? You will experience that state. What will you do? You will wake up from that state. You will start telling people that I've seen the truth. There are so many people telling everyone that I've seen the truth. Right? But what can you do about it? What can you do about it? It's not yours. It is like you've taken a pill and LSD and you saw the truth. Right? You have not moved through the third state of consciousness. Because all the effort is in the third state of consciousness, through self-consciousness. You have not moved through that state. You have taken a shortcut and come back. Right? So it is possible if I breathe out, and I tell people at night, do breathe out. Do create a vacuum inside and try to go to sleep in that vacuum. Right? So you will experience deeper levels of sleep in that. Right? But there are ways. There is also a very secret way which is called as murcha. Very few people know this technique. And there are ways of doing a mudra over here, right? So I can do a mudra over here and I can squeeze my windpipe. So here I've squeezed the windpipe, I'm not allowing myself to breathe. At one point I will fall unconscious. The minute I fall unconscious, this grip relaxes. So I start breathing. So I'm not going to die. Right? And if I can be a little aware in that unconscious, then I'll start getting a glimpse of that samadhi state. Right? Many ways of doing it. Many ways of doing it. But it's not the right way. You cannot enter into the fourth state of consciousness directly from the second state of consciousness. This is all these tricks are there. These are all shortcuts, right? And when people are teaching such shortcuts, definitely they have some deeper motive lying in them. Why do they want to teach these kind of things, right? It's definitely the motive is not a very proper motive. So you can do it, and you can close the windpipe and you may be humming a mantra at the same time. So Suddenly the windpipe opens, you're in unconscious, but the mantra goes on. Right? And that mantra goes on, it gives you that consciousness in that state. You suddenly experience it. Right? So ways of doing it. But is it really the right way or not? That is the thing. For me, the right way is you, from the third state of consciousness, you go to the fourth state of consciousness. The third state of consciousness starts with divided attention, self-observation. Right? But there are many people who want to go from the second state directly to the fourth state. They don't want to make any effort. They don't want to make any effort. Right? So there are many techniques, and India was an expert in these techniques. They had thousands of these kinds of techniques where you could experience it directly. Initially, these techniques had a purpose, in the sense that they had a purpose that if you experience something of that, then you will say, can I make an effort to go to that? It will, bring force to your effort. You understand? Right? So if you do it for that, then it is right. But I don't see it happening that way. Anyway, we've diverted. We are talking about plugging loss of force. Are we going to bump samadhi? Adi, Vyadi, and Samadhi.
Yeah, but that's a good example of loss of force, or misuse of force.
Misuse. It can be also transmitted through Shaktipat. Right? There is a technique of transmitting it through energy. Right? Touching certain points, the Guru can transfer that energy. But then, you see, I used to see this happening, and people then would say that, when is my next turn coming? Now, why are you waiting for your next turn? This was just to give you a glimpse that it is such a state. Now, you take the Shakti path, it lasts for 2 days. On the third day, you're waiting for your next turn, but your next turn is after 3-4 months, because there's a big line. Right? Of people who want to go to the Guru to have Shakti path. And then you don't do anything. All your rest of your time you're yearning for your next time. So all this was there in India. All these techniques were developed. Such beautiful techniques. Actually, they're really beautiful if rightly used. Rightly used. But wrongly used. And this is my personal thing, that I have seen so many gurus who used to give Shakti path. So many of them. And in their later life, physically they had to suffer a lot. They would be ridden with disease, diabetes, blood pressure, kidney problems. One of the very famous ones. I mean, he was so famous. He was the one who was teaching other people how to give this Shakti path. Very famous. He was in Gujarat only. And in his last days, he had to lie on his bed. Because when you're giving that energy, you're vibrating your body, brain system at certain frequencies which are not right. The Guru may do it once to a certain disciple. He does it for him just to give him a taste that is there. I'm not going to be here any longer. You've experienced where you have to go. Now find your path. Now find your path. Because the Guru knows that he is going away, and yet the disciple has not even had a glimpse of that state. Then he purposely gives a glimpse of that state. Right? But then that disciple has been trained to make right use of that. All sorts of techniques are there. What is identification? Back to the boring stuff. What is identification?
When you relate to something,
One is to recognize something, but we are not taking that definition. So it is the process by which we lose our original identity. Our original identity is somewhere we have the real feeling of I, our presence, and take on the identity of something else and feel that it is totally real. And feel that it is totally real. Right? That is, we lose our originality and incorporate totally the aspects of something else. Gujarati. Example. We are identified with all our thoughts, all our emotions, feelings, all the roles we play in life. When I am playing the role of a father, I think I am really the father. I have forgotten that I am playing the role. When I am the boss of the business, I think I am really the boss. I have forgotten. So inside of ourselves, we identify with every thought, every emotion, every sensitivity, and within life, we identify with every role we are playing. We lose our originality. Identification is a process જ્યાં આપણી ઓરિજિનલ જે આઈડેન્ટિટી હતી એ આપણે ગુમાવી બેસીએ છીએ. હકીકતે તો એક ક્ષણ માટે પણ જીવનમાં એની અનુભૂતિ થતી નથી. અને કંઈક બીજી વસ્તુની આઈડેન્ટિટી આપણે લઈ લઈએ છીએ અને એને આપણે આઈ કહીએ છીએ. કાં તો મારો વિચાર હોય, કાં તો મારો ભાવ હોય, કાં તો મારી સંવેદના હોય, કાં તો જીવનમાં જે હું અત્યારે પાત્ર ભજવતો, હું પિતાનો પાત્ર ભજવતો, તો મને એ ફિલિંગ નથી થતું કે આ જીવનની નાટકની અંદર હું પાત્ર ભજવું. હું હકીકતે પિતા છું. આઈડેન્ટિફિકેશન. અને એનું લક્ષણ છે કે કંઈ પણ નેગેટિવ થાય તો મને ફરિયાદ આવે. Right? Wherever there is complaining, there has to be identification. Wherever there is complaining, there has to be identification. Complaining about anything. Anything. સાધકના ડિક્શનરીની અંદર ફરિયાદની જગ્યા નથી. એને કોઈ પણ વસ્તુની ફરિયાદ કરી એટલે ગયો. Is identified. We lose our originality. એટલે આપણું જે ઓરિજિનલ આપણું મુખ હતું, the original face, we have lost it. And we have worn mask upon mask. Right? It is a deep form of hypnosis. Identification. It is a state of sleep. Right? And the beauty is that we all live in that state of sleep. Still we feel that we are not sleeping, we are conscious and relating to life. This is the beauty. And Maya kehvaય. This is Maya. આપણે બધાય એ નિંદ્રાની સ્થિતિમાં છીએ, કોઈ જાગૃત નથી, છતાં એ વેમમાં આપણે આખી જિંદગી નીકળી જાય છે કે હું તો કોન્શિયસ વ્યક્તિ છું, અને બધું કરું છું, હું જાણું છું. રાઈટ? એને માયા કહેવાય. This is miyate iti maya, that which measures. Right? What keeps us in this sleep? What keeps us in this state of identification? What keeps us in this state of identification? શું આપણને આ સ્થિતિમાં રાખે છે? Yes, ego, very true. Habits. A whole mass of habits. આપણી અંદર એટલી બધી આદતો છે, વિચારવાની આદતો, ભાવ લાગણીની આદતો, સંવેદનાની આદતો, habits in the thinking, habits in the feeling, habits in the sensing. We are not I, we are just a mass of habits. We are just a structure of habits. And these habits keep us in the sleep of life. And this serves nature's purpose very, very well. Our prakriti no kaam thai jai. It serves nature's purpose. And every time we try to observe ourselves, we make that slight effort to wake up. The habits pull us back. The habits keep on pulling us back. So waking up is a very long process of struggle against all these factors which keep putting us back to sleep. Now, what is the biggest loss of force? Identification. Right? I wake up in the morning, I come with the force, I'm identified with my role as a father. I meet my son in the morning after waking up. Did you do your homework? And he says, I have not done my homework, and that which I have gathered at night, gone to nature. Finished. I'm identified. How can my son not do his homework? Right? Finished. That's the end of the matter. Back to sleep. We react. That very fine energy which we woke up in the morning with, our eyes have opened, we are making the son ready for school. Did you do your homework? No. Right? And the mother will ask, yesterday did you eat from your tiffin box or did you give it to somebody else? And he'll say, oh, I gave it to this person, mother's gone. Finished. Not even 12 o'clock. 6 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock in the morning. Identified with the role we are playing in life. ક્યાંથી પછી સેલ્ફ ઓબ્ઝર્વેશન નો ફોર્સ ક્યાંથી કાઢો? How? Right.
એ જે એનર્જીનો ફોર્સ આપણને રાતની સ્લીપમાંથી જ મળે કે દિવસ દરમિયાનની ઊંઘમાંથી પણ મળે?
યોગ નિદ્રા કરો તો મળે. There are techniques of going into a state. Actually, can you remain in an in-between state? When you wake up in the morning, try to remain in an in-between state. Where you're not allowing yourself to wake up. You're totally relaxed inside. Just be slightly aware, so no thoughts, no feelings, just an empty state, and hold that empty state. A tortoise has pulled in its limbs. It's not allowing the limbs to go out. એક કાચબાએ પોતાના અંગોને અંદર લઈ લીધા. એમ કે હજી આપણે જાગ્યા નથી. અડધી સ્થિતિમાં છે. અને કોઈ પણ જસ્ટ સેજ સાક્ષી રાખજો, સેજ જાગૃતિ રાખજો કે કોઈ વિચાર ના આવે, કોઈ સંવેદના ના આવે, કોઈ ભાવનો તરંગ ના આવે. And just remain there. And it's very joyful, very, very joyful. Bhau Ananda. And remain in that state. If you can do that for some time, you will gather a lot of force. every day. આપણે તો હવે શું છે કે મોડા જ ઉઠતા હોય અને પછી દોડા પટ્ટી જ હોય, હવે એ સ્થિતિ ક્યાં વાત. The pressures of modern life.
પણ છતાં એ લોકો બહેનો એનર્જી બહુ હોય છે. વરી એટલી કરે, ટેન્શન એટલા રાખે.
એટલે આઈડેન્ટિફિકેશન કરવાની એનર્જી.
હા એનર્જી હોય છે.
એમાંથી નીકળવાની એનર્જી નહીં, નીકળવાની એનર્જી. આમાં શું છે? Two types of energy. One from inside, one from the sun. Right? What we get from inside is only when we wake up in the morning. Right? Hakikate, have we taken that Akshay Patra? Akshay Patra? Ke Draupadi ne Akshay Patra bade. Have we taken that story? That is the Akshay Patra. Akshay Patra. Right? We'll take that story. We'll take that story. Not today, but we take it. It's a beautiful story. Beautiful story. And this energy which is lying inside is unlimited. Unlimited. If we know the technique, હવે સવારે વેડફાઈ ગયું, we waste the energy in the morning. Then the rest of the day we are just wasting the energy we have got from food. From food. Take a little honey when you go to sleep at night. Little bit of honey. It helps. Put a little good salt crystals in the honey. Right? So the quality of sleep will change completely. If you can get those pink Himalayan salt crystals, or what is the salt called? Khoisan. The one you get over here. It's a very good salt. I've been using it since I've come over here. So, 1 teaspoon of honey and a little bit of salt crystals. The quality of sleep, it will help a little. See, honey increases the power of the cells to absorb oxygen dramatically. Right? So by taking a little bit of honey when we go to sleep at night, our oxygen absorbing capacity goes up. The quality of sleep will change. Quality of sleep will change. Pardon? So you take a teaspoon of honey, the cell's capacity to absorb oxygen, they say, goes up 15 times. From normal. Right? But if you take sugar at night, supposing you're taking a milk drink at night with sugar inside, then that sugar sort of lowers the oxygen absorbing capacity of the cells. Right? So if you're taking any drink at night, to take honey instead of sugar. Now, according to medical science, honey is nothing but sugar. Right? But then in Ayurveda, honey is called Amrut. It's called Amrut for a reason. Definitely, Amrut is the divine fragment. Is the divine fragment. The soul goes in to meet the divine fragment. So there's some connection over there. Pardon? Definitely. Yeah. So I would prefer raw honey. Raw. Yeah.
3/4 of honey in this country is made in a factory out of chemicals.
That's another thing.
The honey guy told me that. That's true.
It's true, yeah, I know.
Made from chemicals. The stuff in the shop that's heated and radiated.
Yeah, they.
It's useless. And that's sugar.
So it has to be raw honey. Unheated raw honey. Unheated raw honey. Try it out. The quality of sleep really changes. Yeah.
Actually, one of the reasons for that is that there's actually been a shortage of heat in the country. That's why you don't get the. But my question actually is, according to Ayurveda, honey is got the low ojas value. What's the significance of that?
It cannot be.
What?
It cannot be.
That's what the Ayurvedic doctor said.
It cannot be.
Okay, so what do you define ojas as?
Ojas is light.
Okay.
Ojas is light. Now I'll just keep this for tomorrow. There are 3 levels of sex energy. The physical level, the psychic level, the spiritual level. Right? The physical level is called as Shukra. The psychic level is called as Virya. And the spiritual level is called as Ojas. You understand what I'm trying to say? This is my experience, whatever the Ayurvedic people say. Honey helps to create ojas, whatever they want to say. The idea is to separate these 3 levels. That you transform the sex energy, where from the sex energy you separate the psychic part and you separate the spiritual part. In deep sex, the joy which comes, it comes from the divine fragment, from the Atma inside. Right? It is not the joy of sex, it is the joy of Samadhi. It is the joy of Samadhi. Why does it come? What happens? The sex cell which is created in the body, it only has 2 components, the physical component and the psychic component. But when the sex act comes to its peak, right, this top chakra over here is vibrating. Right? The top chakra is vibrating. And when it is vibrating, this Atma is sitting up here. And in that sex energy, it adds something of its own. Because that cell is going to move forward to give birth to another human being who will again be a vessel for the Atma. So he puts in something. What he puts in is ojas. Ojas. Right? The yogi, he learns to separate the different parts of sex energy and to extract that ojas. To extract that ojas. That is divine. It is the nectar, his honey. Here we are drinking our honey. That is his honey. It is a gift. And because he puts it in, that is why there is so much pleasure in sex. The pleasure is divine pleasure. It is not the pleasure of sex. You understand? It is coming from a very, very high source, that pleasure. Right? So that is ojas, the light, spiritual light. Again, in sex energy, there are three kinds of sex energy. One, the child is born with. That is prenatal sex energy. One, the transformation starts around the time of adolescence. And one, when this chakra over here opens up, he is able to take the sex energy from the cosmic sex energy. It's 3 levels of sex energy. The one which comes at puberty, that sex energy is very combustible, in the sense it immediately becomes a victim of excitement. Right? The one which has come with birth, it is not so easily excitable. It is of a much better quality than the one which we get at puberty. Because it is there before. The one which we get at puberty even a young child is creating from the food he eats. It comes from the food he eats. Later on, as we rotate the chakras inside, we learn to open this chakra. Then we learn, like I said, in the morning we are in that state, we can open this and we can breathe from this chakra. We are breathing the cosmic energy directly. And that is a different kind of sex energy. 3 levels of sex energy. Each level of sex energy will have its own ojas. When we go into the law of octaves, I'm going to explain all these things. Right? Because but I want you first to get, familiar with that. That is why yesterday I found it a little heavy. I said today I'll take a break, talk about something else, right? And then tomorrow I'll try to again. But now again we'll continue this tomorrow and we'll just see. But the whole spiritual journey is 3 things. I see you, you come in as a prana. I recognize you, a memory is coming to meet that prana. And the vessel in which they are meeting is sex energy. The vessel in which they are meeting is sex energy. If that energy is a victim of excitement, they will meet and I will react immediately. If through something I have cleaned this energy of excitement, that is called Kundalini, cleaning this energy of excitement, then I will not react. But all the patterns which lead to the reaction lie in the emotional center, not in the sex. The sex energy is neutral. There is it does not know pleasure, it does not know pain. It is totally neutral. Right? I have not taken sex energy. Later on I am going to take it in great depth, what is sex energy. Because we have all these kind of things, that sex brings pleasure. Sex has nothing to do with pleasure. It is absolutely neutral. The pleasure comes from somewhere else. Right? So, but that energy in us gets conditioned through excitement. And all that excitement is because of patterns in the emotional center. So, till the emotional center is purified, you cannot touch that energy. That is why all these people who are teaching Kundalini Yoga without purification of the emotional center, somewhere their motive is totally wrong. Because it cannot be done till these patterns are lying within me. If I transform that energy, I create something higher out of that energy, and within me, my ambition is still at the same place. right? My revenge is at the same place, right? Those patterns are still the same. I'm just going to use that energy to take revenge on you. And now I have much better techniques of taking revenge on you. So that is why we don't touch that energy at all. All Kundalini Yoga today taught in the world anywhere is bogus. Absolutely bogus. Be aware of such gurus. Very aware of such gurus with their teaching. Because first comes purification of the emotional center. And that can only come through self-observation. It is not that I don't know all these things. Right? Everything has been fed into this computer over here. Right? I don't want to talk about these things. Right? Talk about the third state of consciousness, where we make an effort. Where we make an effort. Right? Okay. Any other question? Yes.
Cosmic sex energy.
Huh?
Cosmic sex energy. What is it cosmic? Just cosmic energy.
There is interaction between stars. Right? So, like a mother, she looks after the child in her womb for 9 months. Similarly, there is interaction between stars where the stars want to give birth to a new sun with a solar system where there is life. Right? And they are going through a different process. And we can partake of that energy. Directly, we can partake of that energy. See, we have so much, we have abused the word sex so much that when I use it as cosmic sex energy, I don't mean what normally everybody thinks. Not that way. It's something of a very different order. It brings an intelligence of a different kind. You understand what I'm trying to say? An understanding of a different kind. That this is not just the sun giving us energy, but the sun is also moving around somewhere. And that moving around is creating something different. Maybe there are two stars coming together because of the sun's movement. And those two stars coming together is like the male and female coming together. Right? And it's going to create something new. This sun is going to die, but it's already decided what it's going to do. Right? So these are not things for science, but still there is something. And once that energy starts coming in, then suddenly you get a universal cosmic intelligence. Cosmic intelligence. Right? Yesterday night I was seeing a serial. Right? And there was a church box where you put in donations. Right? And somebody had stolen from that box. And one of the persons who came to the church was the police commissioner. Right? And he got news that somebody had stolen from the box. And he comes to the father. Of course, the father and the commissioner are great friends. Right? So he says, Father, we have to catch that person and he has to be punished. Right? So the father is saying, but as far as the church is concerned, there is nothing called stealing. There is nothing called stealing. I don't know what you mean by stealing. If that person had a need, he took from the box, and that's the end of the matter. Right? And the police commissioner cannot understand this language. But when you have that cosmic energy, you will understand this language. There is nothing like personal in life. Everything is cosmic. We feel we earn it. It comes from some higher source. We use it for some time. We use it for some time. We are trustees of it for some time. If somebody stole it, they've stolen it. That's the end of the matter. That is the end of the matter. Because the very fact that we said it was mine was stealing. The very fact that I say कि आ पैसा मारा छे it's stealing छे. If somebody else is stealing, what difference does it make? Can you understand? So that energy comes with a different intelligence. Suddenly we see the truth of life. And the truth of life can be very bitter at times. Huh? Yeah. Oh,
સંપૂર્ણ
awesome. He was this beautiful person. He lived in Mon for many years. The people in America who arranged my lectures, they were all followers of this Swami. And he lived to be 109 years old. I met him a couple of times. That was before I met these people in America who arranged my lectures. I met him with Ramzulare Bapu. Ramzulare Bapu used to take me to his ashram. He took me about 4 times and I met him 4 times. And I used to know many people who were living with him. Now he had this beautiful ashram near Rajkot on the banks of the river. A beautiful ashram. Now, one day he's sitting there and he's sitting in that langot, just a small loin cloth wrapped around him. And it seems that a group of Hare Krishna people were looking for an ashram. And they came in to meet him. And they're telling him that, Swamiji, why don't you sell this ashram to us? Of course, the Hare Krishna movement has money and there's only money there and nothing else, right? It's a total waste of time. So they came and they said, Swamiji, we'd like to buy your ashram. So he says, you like this ashram? Here, take this ashram. In that same langot, he went out and he told his people, empty it, give it to them. And that's the end of the matter. End of the matter. He didn't even go to pack his clothes. He didn't even go to pack his clothes. Take it. So, somebody who has that sex energy, right, who's feeding on that energy, there is nothing like possessiveness. There's nothing like expansion. I have one ashram, I want another ashram, buy another ashram. Sick. It's sick. Just like the big companies want to buy other companies. They want to expand their ashrams. The very motive is wrong. Huh?
So where did he go?
He went to some. Then these people who invite me there, they lent his home for many years. They lent him their home in Baroda, and he was staying there. What I'm trying to say is that that energy comes with a different intelligence. Then there's no desire to acquire somebody else's ashram, acquire something more. There's no desire for that. It goes because you're just dissolved into that cosmic energy. No, what do you call, I don't want to pass any judgment on the Hare Krishna. Beautiful movement, whatever it is. It serves its purpose. Right?
Can I get that?
Huh?
Can I get it?
What?
Can I get a little bit in talk?
Yeah.
What Atman Sarup ke?
Huh?
Atman Sarup ke?
Jeev no Swarup, Atma no Swarup.
What is Atman?
Huh? Soul. આપણે લેશું એક દિવસ લેશું. આત્મા શું છે, જીવ શું છે. આત્મામાં કોઈ પણ સ્વરૂપ નથી. કોઈ પણ
स्थानक क्या है?
हाँ?
शरीर में स्थानक क्या है?
આત્માનું સ્થાન બિંદુમાં છે, જીવનું સ્થાન હૃદયમાં છે.
એ કેમ એક્સરેમાં કેમ નહીં આવે?
નહીં આવે તો તમારી આંખ એક્સરે જેવી કરો તો આવી જાય. તમારી આંખ એક્સરે જેવી કરો. હા?
X-ray is too mechanical. X-ray is too mechanical.
Pardon?
The X-ray is too mechanical.
Too mechanical. X-ray can only see the physical. આપણે પૂરું કરીએ. થેન્ક યુ. જય શ્રી કૃષ્ણ.
જય શ્રી
કૃષ્ણ.